We are looking ahead to Mother's Day this Sunday with Dr Hilary, who's here alongside his own mum, Noreen. At the age of 92, she's written her first book. It's a memoir about her early life. It is great to see you, really good to see you. It's called Noggy.
Yes.
Because that's what you're called.
That's what all the family call me.
All the family call you Noggy?
Lots of friends call me Noggy.
It's a really, really brilliant read, and it's a great idea because you've written down all these memories for your family.
Yes. It's meant to show the younger generation what necessities to them were luxuries to me before the war when I was a child, and how people managed very well to help each other, had to have regard to education by going yourself to the library to get what you wanted to read if you hadn't got it at home already. You had encouragement from parents who had climbed out of poverty and had a goal in front of them to manage to do better for themselves, and they succeeded.
And you really instilled that in all of your boys. I mean, you had 4 boys.
Yes.
4, but I don't know how you managed with 4 big guys in the house.
They didn't quarrel.
They didn't quarrel, that's good.
They were very amiable, and we had a sort of happy household. Luckily, with a piece of ground to be a garden, all the neighbours' kids could come in as well, be fed as and when. Well,
that was the thing, because Hilary, you would come back, right, after rowing or something, or playing sport, and it wouldn't just be you, and it wouldn't just be your brothers, there'd be squads of people.
There were 8 people in the crew, and they were all starving.
And your poor mum,
she would have the chip pan on for about an hour, get through a sack of potatoes. It would just feed us all, egg and chips.
Oh,
Brilliant.
It happened. Yes, and sometimes people would stop over, and I'd be surprised in the morning when I drew the curtains to how many sleepovers we had.
Yeah, bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
Bodies everywhere.
Yeah, you were very generous.
Born the same year as the Queen.
Yes,
which is absolutely
indeed.
remarkable. How do you keep so young? Because you're as sharp as anything, much sharper than Hilary and I.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you keep that though?
Very interested in gardening and horticulture.
Right.
And outside. Would like to have lived in the country. It wasn't possible. Lived in London. Now I'm glad I live in London because I live right by the river. I can see things happening day by day, season by season. And I like to go out every day. I must keep active. Belong to this U3A group that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Belong to horticultural group. I belong to another group which meets for conversation to help people who are lonely. But the people who are most lonely can't get out.
No, that's true. But you were saying every day you should try to do something, and you should try to talk to someone. You know, get yourself out there if you can.
Speak to somebody in the street. Sometimes I know them and sometimes I don't. But I think it's very important to do something for somebody else every day, however small a thing. And I write a lot of letters to people who aren't very good anymore with their phones.
Right.
And when other days are just not long enough, I always have a project list.
That's fantastic, though. That's what keeps you going. Now, what about this one? What was he like as a boy?
Very amiable.
Was he a model child? Because I don't believe that.
No. I was alarmed about having a model child. I fortunately didn't have such a thing, but I think it's quite jolly to have boys being sporty and being allowed to have a certain amount of freedom and not be costed, not be waited on, and having to help somebody else some of the time.
But that's what you really put that into you, didn't you? Instilled that whole sort of belief of treat everybody the same, and do a bit of good in this world.
I think one of the greatest things that Mum instilled in us was no class consciousness. I mean, she would talk to anybody from whatever background, and she didn't care where they came from, you know, what they believed in, but she would talk to them as people, and being a people person has stood you in. That's why you're still so popular today. And she still beats the whole family at Trivial Pursuits and crosswords. It's just wipe out crossword in 10 minutes. She's so erudite and well-read. She just astonishes us all the time.
That's brilliant.
And her motto is, I don't want to stop because I might miss something, you know, so she will never stop. She just keeps going and wonders why she gets tired in the evening.
It's such a great idea to write all this down, though, because I would have loved to have read something like this about my grandmother, my great-grandmother.
I wish I'd asked mine.
I know, because all of these memories...
So many things we didn't know.
So many things I didn't know about.
Did you find out a lot about your mum reading this, Hilary?
Yes. Yeah, so much that I didn't know and I found fascinating. I mean, the picture on the inside cover there is of her father, who fought in the First World War in the Battle of the Somme. I had a bullet through his neck, went back to the battlefields again after that. We still have the bullet. Just fascinating.
That's a different breed of people.
And letters that he wrote in Ireland in 1916 when he was sent there by the army. And he didn't know why he was there. because people just did as they were told in the ranks in those days.
Yeah.
But the bravery and the sacrifice and all of that, that comes through, especially in the early days, as you were saying. You know, sometimes we do moan a little bit about the present day, but actually, I don't think anybody could do what your generation did.
Well, it didn't come about that they had the opportunity.
Yeah, that's
And she talks about...
Unbelievably, technology amazingly now has taken such a great hold on everybody's life that it's hard to imagine without it.
That's true.
She talks about the world before the NHS. So pre-vaccination, when people died of diphtheria and meningitis and so many...
People didn't go to the doctor, they couldn't afford it.
It's crazy when you think about that
It's
now, you
just
really do.
taken for granted now as a right. But it really is
You're
amazing...
always off. You're a very, very special woman. No, he's doing it for a very good reason.
Mother's Day approaching on Sunday, so we thought...
It's an early present.
It's only right that you have some early flowers, because we know you love your flowers.
For the gardener.
And the family,
yes, how
you know,
very jolly.
the family are so proud of you for what you've achieved. Doing a book at
I know, this is
92.
amazing.
I couldn't do it without the help I've had from them.
So you've added that to all your talents. You're an author as well now.
Well, you have to write another one.
I'm on page 6.
Love it.
But I haven't had time to get very far.
She never stops. I love it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
Great to
having
see
me.
you. Hilary, you're a lucky man.
I am indeed.
You're a lucky
We all
man.
are.